Good morning, everyone, and really thank you all for being here. I'm Stacey Sweet, a proud Red Cross board member, and I am pleased to serve as your MC today. We have so much important information to get to on how to keep you and your families safe throughout hurricane season and beyond. We know that one storm can devastate a community, and the best thing we can do today, right now, is be prepared. The Red Cross would like to thank the City of Long Beach for partnering to host this important press conference. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce Long Beach City Council member Michael Reinhart. Michael.
Hello. Welcome to the City of Long Beach. On behalf of our City Council and our City Manager, thank you for being here. My name is Mike Reinhart, Long Beach City Council. There's nothing more important than keeping our residents safe. That's why the City of Long Beach is proud to partner with the American Red Cross to get our critical hurricane preparedness information to our community. We are honored to be joined and thankful for our partners in government, Congressman Anthony D'Esposito and County Legislator Patrick Mullaney. Just a few short months ago, the Red Cross was here in our community. We worked alongside their volunteers installing free alarms in residents' homes around the city with the life-saving Sound the Alarm campaign. Today, we welcome them back to our city, and we are grateful for their partnership to help get the word out about the importance of hurricane preparedness as we head into what's forecasted by the NOAA to be an extremely active and potentially unprecedented hurricane season. One storm can devastate a community. We know that firsthand in Long Beach. We are a barrier island, and we take Mother Nature very seriously. With hurricane season approaching, we want to take this critical opportunity to help our residents plan and prepare. We can't stress enough, preparation saves lives. Plan, prepare, and don't hesitate to execute that plan. While property can be replaced, people cannot. Here in the city, we urge you to sign up for emergency alerts. You can do that by going to our website, longbeachnewyork.gov/notifications. This information can help your family be safe, knowing what to do before, during, and after a potentially deadly storm. There are also simple yet critical steps you can take right now to be ready for the season and protect your family. Build your emergency kit. Make your evacuation plan. Stay informed and sign up for emergency alerts. Listen to your community's emergency instructions and evacuation orders and heed them. And take care of your neighbors, especially those who need assistance. As a city, we are doing all we can do to protect our residents from current and future storms. As a barrier island community, we have taken the lead in many projects designed to make our city safer and more resilient. We have undertaken a number of critical infrastructure projects to protect our cities on the bayside, on the beach side, and everywhere in between. Our city manager will talk about more of this in just a few moments, but we need your help to get the word out to our community and what they can personally do to keep their families safe. Long Beach is a place known for neighbors helping neighbors. Let's work together to help our neighbors and visitors enjoy the beautiful summer season safely. We want you to relax, enjoy our beaches, stroll the boardwalk, dine at our restaurants and our bars, and enjoy the season with the peace of mind that comes from being prepared. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman Reinhart, for all you do to support Long Beach every single day. The Red Cross is responding to more and more large disasters, twice as many as we did just 1 decade ago. That's why it's so important to prepare and have a plan. It is my pleasure to welcome Long Island Red Cross CEO Jose Dominguez, who's going to share how the Red Cross can help support our communities. Jose.
Thank you, Stacey. Thank you all for being here. What a perfect day. What a perfect day. We do have a thunderstorm planned later on, just for giggles and gaffs. So Thank you so much. My name is Jose Dominguez. I'm the proud CEO of the American Red Cross here on Long Island, and very proud to be an employee and privileged to be an employee of the Red Cross for the past 20 years. So this is really such an important message. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing the passion about being prepared and being a wonderful partner with the Red Cross. Especially want to thank our Congressman for being here. Really appreciate that as well, and for your wonderful enduring partnership as well. All of the partners that are here, these are important members of our Red Cross family as well, because we wouldn't be able to do the work that we do without the partnerships that we have cultivated along the way. And especially thankful to all of the people that are involved here in Long Beach. We love being in Long Beach. The fact that we were able to install smoke alarms, several hundred smoke alarms very recently and throughout the year, is really a privilege to come back every day and do something like this and just talk about the importance of being prepared. I have, as I mentioned, worked with the Red Cross for the past 20 years and have been deployed. We have the privilege of being deployed as volunteers and employees to different locations that are impacted by disaster. 15 hurricanes are under my belt, and it's just tremendous to see the amount of gratitude and support that community members have provided to the Red Cross when we are here assisting. And the many things that we do, one of the first things that we do is set up a shelter, feed our people that have been impacted by a disaster and evacuate, and just provide them a little bit of comfort and hope while they start the recovery process. But one of the things that I do always like to talk about is the importance of being informed, making a kit, being prepared, and understanding the fact that there are many, many messages that are going out, emergency messages, coming from these folks behind me and in front of me to talk about what you should do when you evacuate. For us, one of the main topics that we talk about is make a kit. There's a kit as an example right in front of me. That anybody can look as an example just to find certain things that you want to pack in a backpack. Just talking to my new friend from Homeland Security about the importance of canned goods and how she's prepared in her home, and Chef Boyardee came up. Yes, it's very nostalgic. Some people think it's gross, but it's a perfect example. It's a perfect example of what you can put in your emergency kit. Making a plan. It's a great family effort to sit down or with your neighbor to talk about the importance of having a plan and what you can do to collaborate and cultivate a relationship with your neighbor as well, and helping them be informed and be prepared as well. So important. That's what I typically don't like people. I know it's surprising, but I did go to my neighbor and I did share, hey, she's 82 years old, she's very spunky, and she doesn't have a plan, and we built a kit together, and I'm like, I will be your informant if something happens, and you will be evacuated with me if something does happen. And in our apartment, we do have fire alarms that are very sensitive, and we're very proud of those as well, because they do detect, burnt bacon. I burn it all the time, and that's one of the things that goes off, and I always go and check on our neighbor just in case. So she, I hope she's watching this as well. I will not, share her name though, because she will be embarrassed. For everyone else though, I do want you, just a simple message: make a kit, be informed, make a plan. Really, really important. That's why we're all here. We're here to support you in these efforts. We're here to provide you information. We want everybody to be safe. And if you have a smartphone, we do have an app, an emergency app. Everybody does. Please put that on your phone. It really does help. We get alerted all the time, and it really does help, and provides you locations to our shelters as well if you ever need that, and hopefully you won't. And visit redcross.org. A lot more information on there. Our training, if you want to volunteer with the Red Cross, we provide tons of training. We provide so much information on our website, and free, and it's all free. It's just a simple click. So please do that if you want to make a plan, and don't forget your pets. One of the first things that I did is make something just bit me. Made an emergency kit for my dog Buddy. He is the most important person, aside from our kids, but more so our dog. He is the most important person in our apartment, and he literally has a better emergency kit than my husband and I do. So don't forget your pets. They are part of your family, and they do depend on you. Lastly, I do want to thank are volunteers. There are several volunteers that are here. These are the people that go out in the middle of the night to respond to home fires, that get deployed across the country for weeks on end, sometimes months. We just had a volunteer return after 5 months of being in Hawaii, where we were still providing assistance. We could not do the work we do, the important work we do, and the services we provide for free without our volunteers. So they are always in my heart. They're the ones that really make all of this happen and make the magic happen for the American Red Cross. If you'd like to volunteer, visit www.redcross.org, not only for volunteer opportunities, but for any information you may need on being prepared. Thank you once again, all of you, for being here.
Thank you, Jose. It is great to be a Red Cross volunteer. Before we introduce our next speaker, we'd like to recognize Jeannie Torres. She is Jeannie, hi. She's the Assistant Commissioner assigned to Region 1, New York City and Long Island from the New York State Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Services. Jeannie, we are very grateful for the state's partnership and support. Thank you very much. Now, it is my honor to welcome our Congressman Anthony D'Esposito. Congressman D'Esposito represents New York's 4th Congressional District, which includes the beautiful city of Long Beach. Congressman?
Well, thank you very much. It's great to be here in the city of Long Beach this morning, and I encourage all our friends from the press who are here visiting to please try out and have lunch at one of Long Beach's best restaurants before you head out. We are here this morning. It's very important. We enter the summer season. It's one of the busiest seasons that we have here on the South Shore of Long Island and, of course, the Barrier Island, which I am proud to represent. But it also begins Atlantic hurricane season. And it's a time where sometimes, especially down in this neck of the woods, people remain on edge after what we saw years ago with Irene and Sandy. And obviously we think about Sandy. We think about the money that it cost to rebuild. It's the second costliest storm in the history of the United States of America, costing and incurring over $65 billion in damage. It's a big number. And it's a number that we are concerned about. It's a number that we make sure that each and every day we work to make sure that that number never hits that high again. And I want to thank our partners at the American Red Cross for all the work that they do. I've had the honor to serve as chairman of the Subcommittee on Emergency Management and Technology for Homeland Security. And I've gotten to work with the American Red Cross not only here on Long Island during my time as councilman in the town of Hempstead and as chief of the fire department in Island Park, but now as a member of Congress working with the American Red Cross in every corner of this country, whether it is in the Midwest during tornado season, whether it's flooding, whether it's hurricanes, whether it's fires in communities throughout the country. The American Red Cross is always on the front lines doing what's right. And I also want to point out, because I think it's very important, the mission of the American Red Cross is one that's changing rapidly because they are responding to emergencies that years ago they probably didn't think they were responding to. But yet they adapt, they overcome, and they do the work that needs to be done. And I want to thank them, not only the staff at the American Red Cross, but as well as the volunteers. And when you talk about adapting and overcoming, that's really why we're here this morning. We're here to mark the beginning of hurricane season and to prepare. And that is really what it's all about. It's about preparing and being ready. It's about reviewing your insurance policies. It's about knowing your evacuation routes. It's about downloading that critical Red Cross emergency app before disaster strikes. It's about listening to the people that you elected to provide the information that is critical. You know, I stand here with partners in government, with stakeholders, many of which have spent their lives as a first responder, whether it's our county legislator, Pat Mullaney, who serves us well in the FDNY and career firefighter, or others. This is part of our lives, and we have information. We have critical resources to share with you, and we ask that you listen. So again, I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank the American Red Cross for they've spent much time sounding the alarm. We are once again sounding the alarm on the hurricane season, and ask you all to pay attention, to prepare, to make sure you listen to your elected officials, to follow us on our websites. I have critical hurricane information on my official website, dsposito.house.gov. Thank you all for everything you do. And lastly, I want to give a sincere thank you to all those first responders, not only here on the Barrier Island with our Long Beach Police and Fire Department, but the surrounding communities as well, and all over this country. Each and every day, they are on the front lines doing what's right, protecting their communities, legitimately putting their lives on the line for the safety of others. So I want to thank them. I want to thank the Red Cross, and I look forward to a safe and celebratory summer season here in the city of Long Beach. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. We are deeply grateful for your support. Our next speaker is Nassau Legislator Patrick Mullaney, who represents Nassau's 4th District, which also includes Long Beach, Lido Beach, Atlantic Beach, and more. Legislator Mullaney, as you just heard, is also a first responder, and we are very proud to have him here with us today.
Thank you, Ms. Sweet. Good morning. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this beautiful day. Thank you to the City of Long Beach and the Red Cross for hosting this important event. Congressman D'Esposito, thank you not just for today, but for everything that you do for my district, your district, not only the residents of Nassau County, but for the residents of the United States. So thank you for that. And as well as thank you for my other representatives in government for joining me. Across this region, we're seeing more and more severe weather. And I think no one can argue that, the storms are becoming more devastating. You heard earlier some of the statistics that NOAA has put out. And they have a 70% confidence rate that we're going to see some very severe storms. That said, like you've heard before, Long Beach, Nassau County, we're no stranger to severe weather. And here in Nassau County, we offer a vast array of resources. Resources such as the OEM, Notify Me page, where you can input your email address and sign up for alerts, and you'll get rapid updates as to what's going on. We also offer a self-reporting damage tool. Anybody who lived in this area during Irene and Sandy knows how important it is to document every little problem that you come across during and or after a storm. Our county executive has been the tip of the spear here in Nassau County in regards to making sure he keeps our residents safe. He just recently built a new OEM training center where they practice almost every scenario. Inspector Corbett will be up shortly, I'm sure, to talk about that. But that facility, they use it for training county employees, but they also use it for training outside agencies to make sure that anybody who wants to stay up on all the technology and all the resources that we have, it's at their fingertips. We also work here in Nassau County with the state, with New York City and Suffolk County to ensure that everyone stays safe, and that regardless if we have to head in either direction, any direction, we know that we're always welcome. Before I leave, there's a couple of more things just to touch on. On the county websites, there's an unlimited list of additional resources, one of them being phone numbers to call in case of an emergency. Something to be mindful of is 911 calls are just for emergencies. They're not for information. And quite often during times of panic, people will call those resources and clog them up, and potentially someone else won't be able to get through. So feel free to peruse either my website, the Congressman's website, OEM, Long Beach, and the Red Cross. Other than that, thank you very much for joining us today, and have a good day.
Thank you, Legislator Mullaney. It is now my pleasure to introduce Richard Corbett from Nassau OEM.
Give me 1 second, everybody. I'm sorry. All right, first off, I want to thank the Red Cross and the City of Long Beach for sponsoring this very important event. I spent many years working in the City of Long Beach. I'm also the former fire chief here. I was fire chief during Sandy, along with Congressman D'Esposito. So we do have some experience in getting the job done down here. Since last hurricane season, the Nassau County Office of Emergency Management has done the following to better prepare the residents, visitors, and government to ensure everyone's safety. After every storm, we did an after-action report to check on our weaknesses and strengths and always strive to improve on them. We made modifications to our 120-hour storm timeline. That's the guideline that is the standard that we all follow. When a storm is 120 hours out, that's when we all start activating and getting our resources in place. Nassau County is one of only 16 counties in the state that is emergency management certified, meaning if we know we're expecting a major event or storm, New York State will pre-deploy resources for us, so we don't have to wait the extended periods of time to see what the aftermath is. We will have resources in place. Nassau County Executive Blakeman had us update our training center with state-of-the-art communications, audio, video, and radio equipment. With these modifications, we can actually extend the size of our emergency operations center should they need. We've also added new technology to our emergency operations center. We updated one of our existing command vehicles with state-of-the-art satellite, phone, internet, and radio communications from an older vehicle, saving the taxpayers over $1 million. We're also in constant contact with our surrounding jurisdiction and stakeholders, including, but not limited to, Suffolk County, New York City, Westchester, Yonkers, the Port Authority, New York State DHSES, and the American Red Cross. So as you can see, County Executive Blakeman takes this very seriously. He's given us the tools and the staff needed to keep everybody safe. So I want to thank the Red Cross for inviting us down here, and have a safe holiday season. Have a safe hurricane season, everybody.
Thank you very much for that important information. And we are now glad to welcome our neighbors from Suffolk County back to Long Beach today. Patrick Beckley is the Commissioner for Suffolk County Fire Rescue Emergency Services. Patrick.
Good morning. I'm here today with Deputy Commissioner Rudy Sunderman on behalf of County Executive Ed Romaine. It's our pleasure to be here today with our local and regional representatives. County Executive Romaine understands, as do we all, that a lot of what happens here on the island becomes a regional issue, becomes a regional problem, and we need to work together to help the people of Long Island. And I think I want to commend the American Red Cross for bringing us all together today to do that. Now, this isn't the first time we've met, a lot of us. I go back to relationships that were forged on Hurricane Sandy with Congressman D'Esposito when he was chief of Island Park, with Commissioner Rich Corbett when he was the chief of Long Beach. Those are just a few of the relationships that were built on Hurricane Sandy that are always in our mind when we come into a hurricane season. It's always there, and we always work together. This is just one event of many that we're going to have throughout June, where we're going to be testing our plans through different exercises. But this year, I want to talk to you about what we're doing in Suffolk County, not only for our residents, but for our tourists. So last year, Suffolk County Office of Emergency Management, we created a program called Stay a While, Stay Informed. And what we did was we encouraged vacationers and we encouraged residents to sign up for Suffolk County alerts. On a summer day, we can have upwards of 25,000 people, tourists on Fire Island. How do you get information to them? How do you make sure that they know that in a day there might be a hurricane upon them? And it's crucial that they take that power into their own hands and they sign up for Suffolk alerts. This year, what we're doing is we're going to just add on to that Stay a While, Stay Informed campaign with Countdown to Readiness. All right, Countdown to Readiness, 3, 2, 1. And number one is be informed. So if you text Suffolk Alerts, that's one word, Suffolk Alerts, to 67283, residents and tourists and out-of-area folks can sign up for Suffolk County Alerts. You control the notifications you want to get, and we highly recommend that you do that if you're going to be, if you're a resident of Suffolk County or if you're going to be visiting us this hurricane season. The second thing you want to do is be prepared. That's been the ongoing message today. Be prepared. This is your chance to take control and make sure you and your family, as well as your pets, are prepared for the hurricane season by building a kit, building a plan. Just do one thing. Maybe it's taking all your important documents and putting in a waterproof carrying case so that if you have to leave your home, you're taking it with you, and it's going to make recovery a lot easier. And then finally, what we're asking people to do during our countdown to readiness 3, 2, 1 is know your zone. We did a lot of work this last year on really mapping out our flood zones and helping people identify where they fall in to that flood zone area. So we want you to know your zone. If you go to Suffolk County Office of Emergency Management website, you can actually type in your address and it'll tell you exactly what zone you're in and what shelter you may have to report to during the time of evacuation. Ultimately, we work with the American Red Cross to open those shelters. And if I had to leave you with one thing today, if there's one thing that keeps emergency managers up at night, and I can tell you this is the truth, is that people won't be informed when they need the information the most. Or if they are informed, they're not going to heed our warnings to evacuate when they're told to. So please do your part protecting your family and yourself this hurricane season. And if you're told to evacuate, please listen to that information. We're not doing it because we want to see people leave their homes. We're doing it because they want to see them survive. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I am pleased to introduce my fellow board member, Jim Flannery. He's the Chief Operating Officer of a great Red Cross partner, National Grid Ventures US Northeast. Jim?
Thank you, Stacey, and thank you to the American Red Cross and the City of Long Beach. Thank you, Jose, for all you do for the American Red Cross here on Long Island and for recently being named as an honoree by Blank Slate Media as top leaders here in Nassau County. Thank you to Stacey, fellow board member, for all you do for the Red Cross and for the City of Long Beach. My friend Joe Spaccarelli over there to the right, with the Home Fire campaign, which National Grid is such a proud sponsor of. And also to my friend, partner, and fellow board member Lou DeBrino, who will follow me here from PSEG. The Red Cross and National Grid's mission is to serve our communities, and we're very much aligned, whether it's a blue sky day or unprecedented weather conditions. National Grid appreciates the strong ongoing partnership with the Red Cross. Our natural gas system and power plants are ready and prepared for what is forecasted to be a very busy hurricane season. We've conducted our drills for gas emergencies on Long Island to ensure we have emergency plans and tactics in place to keep our customers safe. We also participate in tabletop exercises with PSEG Long Island, Con Edison, and working together to ensure that we provide safe, responsive, and reliable service. These exercises provide great interaction and knowledge building for both our employees and the agencies like the Red Cross, Nassau County OEM, Suffolk County Fire Rescue, FDNY, New York City Emergency Management, and all the volunteer fire departments here across Long Island. We're proud to stand side by side with many first responders as we partner together to prepare and support our stakeholders during these events. Our customers' safety is paramount. We have added a new comfort procedure that will distribute blankets and electric space heaters to customers based on temperature and duration of gas outages during this upcoming season. As always, we're proud to work with the Red Cross, the entire staff, all the volunteers, for their dedicated services to our communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim, for leading our board. PSEG Long Island also works with the Red Cross to help build more resilient communities. I am pleased to welcome my fellow board member, Lou DeBrino. He's the Vice President of Customer Operations, PSEG Long Island. Lou.
Okay, thank you, and good morning, everyone. I also want to start off by thanking the American Red Cross and the City of Long Beach for hosting this event. It truly is great to be out here today, and we've heard this through some of the speeches earlier today. Pat mentioned relationships, Jim talked about partnerships, and that's really what this is all about, the way that all these groups get together for common cause and work in partnership through difficult times, through storms. So it's great, as I said, to see so many folks that we have forged great relationships and partnerships with, and we too at PSEG Long Island share the mission of working with our customers on the front line, especially during emergencies. Just a few things about PSEG and what we do to prepare. We have spent the better part of the last 10 years that we've been here on Long Island further strengthening the T&D system. We've invested in over 1,400 miles of strengthening with stronger poles and wire, adding switches, upgrading our substations, raising them in flood-prone areas and such, and really working to be more resilient in the effect or in the event when we do have a storm. And that's part of it, right? The second part is response, and as with the others, we're very focused on safety, but also on responding and restoring electricity as quickly as possible after a storm. So we too spend a lot of time in training and working with, as Jim said, National Grid and some of our other partners, running events and getting everybody ready to respond when in fact we do have an event. So with that, I do again thank everyone here today. I encourage you to visit our website as well. There's a lot of good information about things you can do to prepare for a storm, and look forward to continuing to work with this great group of partnership that we have here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Lou, for all you do for the Red Cross. And our final speaker today is Long Beach City Manager Daniel Creighton. Long Beach has taken the lead in resiliency projects with a number of critical infrastructure projects designed to protect the city from current and future storms. We want to thank you, Long Beach, for partnering with the Red Cross to keep our communities protected and prepared. And with that, I'd like to introduce City Manager Daniel Creighton.
Thank you, Stacey. And thank you to the Red Cross for setting this up. This is a great event. I think it's very important for everyone to hear. I'd especially like to thank our partners in government today. Having our congressman, our county legislator, our city councilmen here is a testament to the great work we've done to protect the Barry Island that we love so much. I also know our state representatives wanted to be here today, but they were tied up. And that's not to say that that we could have done any of this without the partnerships that we had with our government partners. A tremendous amount of coordination and planning goes into ensuring a community such as this is prepared for natural disasters and other emergencies. I'm thankful to say we have an excellent working relationship with all of our government partners, as well as National Grid and PSEG, who are represented here today. After Hurricane Sandy, the City of Long Beach, with our government partners, invested hundreds of millions of dollars to make sure we are more resilient and protected from storms. Our beach has been re-engineered to protect our South Shore with new dunes and jetties. Miles of bulkhead have been constructed and are still being constructed along our North Shore. Several drainage projects have been completed throughout the city, including Tideflex valves that protect our streets from even high tidal events. Residential homes have been raised. The city has constructed a new Office of Emergency Management, and facilities, buildings around the city have been fortified with flood protection systems. We are consciously doing everything we can to protect the city. What are the main thing, though, that you need to learn today from this event? You've heard from almost everybody that spoke today. It's imperative that we listen to the advice being given here. Plan ahead, know what you need to do, and do it. Don't just plan for it, actually follow through and do it. Have a family plan, practice it. Practice it. Make sure everybody in your family knows what needs to be done when there's an event. Have a go bag packed, as mentioned by Jose. Check your supplies, they're up to date and in working condition. Make sure your batteries are fresh. Know your evacuation routes and where you're going. Make sure there are accommodations for everyone in your group, especially those needing additional assistance, including pets, as mentioned. And please, if an emergency arises, as mentioned by our Office of Emergency Management, heed the instructions of local officials and emergency personnel. Evacuate if you're requested. Don't stick around. Don't say it may not be as bad as, other storms. It's always better to be safe than sorry, and it avoids putting our first responders at further risk. Long Beach and the entire region is a much better place than it was 10 years ago, but we can and should always do better and not let our guard down. If we all do our part together, we'll be able to weather whatever storm comes our way. Thank you again to our government officials for coming out and supporting us. Thank you to Red Cross, and thank you to our partners in business. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager Creighton. We want to thank all of you for joining us today, all of our elected officials. Remember, prepare and plan and execute that plan. And remember, for more tips on how to prepare, you can visit redcross.org/prepare. Thank you very much for being here today. Any questions?
Just curious, people that never leave, they don't need instructions, they stay in their house. How do these organizations, agencies, plan on really getting the message out there? How to differentiate your message, when the time is really dire?
Jose, I'll defer to you on this.
Listen, I'll speak on experience, and I think Chief Corbett would back me up on this. What we saw during Hurricane Sandy was a time where when evacuations were called, there were many that said that there is no way that the storm was going to be as significant and severe as was predicted. And what we saw just hours later were almost 11 to 12-foot storm surges. And I know that emergency managers throughout the Barrier Island, and I'm sure both Jose and again, I know Rich will attest to this. I mean, we used robocalls, we used social media, we used TV, radio. We even got to the point where we sent first responders on foot to knock on doors to let people know that we were evacuating. We had recorded messages that were being played over the loudspeakers on our fire trucks going through streets of the community to make sure that everyone and anyone knew that we must and had to evacuate. And of course, those that didn't listen, we saw deaths on Long Island and in New York following Hurricane Sandy, and we walked legitimately from door to door, made entry into every home and business to check for life and those who needed assistance. What have we learned during Sandy that perhaps there were better ways? Well, I think that, listen, one of the things that's critical and something that's important to me, and I know my partners in government here, is making sure that we invest in infrastructure to make these communities more resilient, to make sure that they are safer, to make sure that our aged infrastructure that is not able to keep up with the storm surges that we see now, that we have the funding to rehabilitate and to reinvest in our communities, to make sure that our first responders and emergency managers have the resources, have the intelligence that they need in order to make proper decisions to keep these communities safe. And obviously to realize that our world is changing. And I think you heard from all the speakers here, whether it's Rich Corbett from Nassau or Pat Beckley from Suffolk, that they are working each and every day to make sure that they understand the changes across Long Island. And whether it's the beaches here in Long Beach or out in Fire Island or in the North Shore, they are making sure that they communicate not only with one another, but utilizing partners like the Red Cross, sharing information with emergency managers throughout the country to make sure that we can do better and stay safer in storms to come.
A question for Jose. So you said the Red Cross has responded to twice as many events in the past decade. Can you kind of paint a picture of what that looked like here on Long Island? What types of events that you were responding to that maybe you weren't in the past? More frequent?
Thank you for the question. It is more frequent. I can tell you that One of the things that much like we were talking about infrastructure, the infrastructure of our own organization, relying on our volunteers, which are 90% of the workforce, and really working with our partners in local government, with elected officials, to really spread the word of what we can do and what we can provide. We don't skip a beat with these individuals behind me when it comes to trying to stand up a shelter here on Long Island or within, the state of New York. And we work in tandem with anyone who's willing to listen to us to talk about what we can do and what the services that we provide. But more intense hurricanes, because of climate crisis, are occurring where, as far as the Red Cross is concerned, we're responding to, I would say, twice in the past 10 years alone, to more than the cost of $1 billion per response. So it's incredible, and it wouldn't be, I have to say thank you to these individuals behind me, because we couldn't do it without their partnership. It's not just hurricanes. Flash flooding, that's something, and we've seen, I love that there's, we're talking about infrastructure as well, because we've seen how some of our coastal lines have been washed away. And of course, that's just going to destroy some of the homes that are, that are right there on the coast. But flash flooding here on Long Island happens quite often. And yet again, we rely on our volunteers that work with our government partners to share that information and to receive information on what we can do to respond. But house fires are probably the number one cause and reason why our volunteers are out and about, because of the fact that we have so many, at least 300 here alone. That hasn't changed. Because we're out there preparing, we're out there providing smoke alarms, free smoke alarms to anyone who wants one, that really has helped build a more resilient community as well. Definitely, at all times. Flash flooding occurs, right? We've seen it. We've seen homes that you've had to evacuate, and it's a great thing to have right there at the front, in the front closet or in the front hallway. That's where mine sits. Thank you all. Any other questions, Ed?
Can I just jump in?
Yep.
I just wanted to reiterate what Councilman D'Esposito said. It's not just major events such as Irene and Sandy. Last year we had a couple of major storms that were centralized. We had up in the area of Elmont, we had some senior housing that was flooded due to 6 inches of rain in about 3 hours. So it doesn't have to be a major event. Everything is changing. We respond to so many of those events that aren't really newsworthy or top of the news, but the Red Cross did open up shelters for that event. It was a senior housing. It just happened to be in the center of a rain cell, which dropped about 6 inches in about 3 hours. Also, regarding the go bags, it's very important for everybody to have a go bag, but you want to have a proper bag. You don't want to put it in a plastic shopping bag that you get from the supermarket, because they deteriorate over time. You want to have a good, sturdy canvas backpack, one for each member of the family and one for each pet. You want to be able to grab it and go. You want to check it at least once a year, preferably before hurricane season, because when we say a go bag, it's literally grab and go. It's time to get out.
Thank you.
See you guys.